Hey guys, welcome back to Discover SPRINGFORD. I'm standing in front of Apothecary Hair Lounge located on Ridge Pike in Royersford. Inside, owner Erin and Director of Education Blaine are going to discuss how Apothecary came to be and also what they're doing to give back not only to their community, but to make the world a cleaner place. I'm Geoff Desiato, a local realtor, aspiring actor, and transplant to the Springford area. And I'm on a mission to find the best that Springford has to offer. I'll be interviewing local business owners, civil servants, and other prominent members of the community to find out what makes Springford a great place to live, work, eat, and explore. I invite you to join me on my journey as I discover Springford. Erin, why don't you start us back, when you were little, or wherever, however comfortable you want to be with sharing your personal story.
A really long time.
Little Erin running down the stairs in pigtails or whatever. How did you get into the industry, and what brought you specifically to this area with Apothecary Hair Lounge?
Well, I can actually think back when I was really little. One of my favorite things to do was to play with people's hair. Even my grandfather, who had like a strip of hair. I think there's some pictures of me standing behind him with a comb and barrettes. My very Italian grandfather, combing his hair over and over and over again, and basically putting him through my fake salon. But I did that when I was little. I always loved it. I had an art background. My grandfather, my father, my grandmother, all artists. And so for me, I just liked this form of art. So I always kind of saw it that way. I didn't really see it as I'm just cutting hair or I'm just, coloring hair. I saw it as kind of transforming people. And it was something I really loved to do. So.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think that, one of the things that not to make it about me, but one of my favorite things is like that transformation that can occur when people have and they're treated to an experience that is something that they don't normally think they deserve, or they they kind of spend their day and their life thinking about all the things they need to do or need to give to others, and they forget about number one, I guess, as they say.
It is nice. I mean, there's very few careers where you actually get to feel that kind of positive outcome from people, and it's instant gratification, which is really nice.
They can see it happening. It's like a night and day transformation.
Somebody comes in, they want to be here. I'm not like the dentist. I don't like saying it. No dentists that don't like it when I say things like that. But where people come in and like don't want to be there, here they come in and they want to be here. And for me, I love that kind of feeling, and I love people and working with people.
So when did you go to officially pursue it as a career outside of being 5 years old or whatever?
Oh my goodness,
you don't have to give years, but you
just
say how old you were.
Yeah, we went to beauty school.
Yeah, I was gonna say, maybe 5 months ago, 6 months ago.
Yeah, a lot longer than that.
Was it something like, I'll put it like this, was it you graduated from high school and then you pursued cosmetology immediately, or?
No.
Oh, okay.
I actually did not. I pursued behavioral science. That's what I went to school for. And I was actually kind of trying to get my footing in that career. It was difficult. You don't make a lot of money. You start out at the bottom of that. And it was a lot of work. So I actually started going to beauty school while I was kind of doing that. And I was going to beauty school during the day. And then I said, okay, well, I'm done with that other career. I love this. I'm going to continue doing this. And I kind of floated in and out for a while. I worked in a salon throughout the day, and then I would go work in group homes at night. And then I actually, for about a year, left doing hair altogether and was working as a regional program director running community support programs for adults with autism. And my son was actually diagnosed as being on the spectrum. And it was really hard for me because I felt like work was always work. There was never a break from it because what I was doing at home was the same as what I was doing throughout the day. And I missed being in the salon, and I came right back to it.
Wow. No, where did you grow up? Did you grow up in this area?
No, I grew up in Delaware County. I went to Upper Darby, so I lived out there. But my family was from this area. My parents moved out there while I was in school, but then moved back here. And I kind of just followed them. So they live in Phoenixville.
Okay, I have to say, for those people that are faithfully watching every single episode, you are now the fourth person who has set a business up here that's from Upper Darby and I think you're the 11th interviewee. So the Railroad Street Bar and Grill, Mike McCluskey is from Upper Darby. Jim Buckman of Stickman Brews is from Upper Darby. Anna Marie is from Upper Darby, and you are number 4. So I think we got there must be a connection to Upper Darby that we'll have to start a side show that's called Discover Upper Darby, a spin-off or something.
I don't know if you want to do that.
No. Well, I think that there's also a testimony for
escape.
Yeah, I was going to say. There's a reason why the business is here.
I love you, Delco.
Yeah, right. Yeah, all my Delco peeps
He works with Delco. He knows all about it.
Oh, it's in a whole other world over there. So I grew up in the Northeast, and that's a whole other bag of tricks, whatever you want to call it. So it's interesting that you pursued behavioral science, because a lot of times people consider their stylist their therapist in a lot of ways. I'm sure you get into some really interesting conversations with people because their guard is down, for one, because you're already changing their complete persona essentially, but then they're comfortable and they feel like it's between me and you and these 4 walls.
Yes, and you know what? They spend a lot of time sitting there with you, and some people are okay with silence, and others don't feel so great with silence, and sometimes it's just easier to make conversation. And in this career, you learn how to be a conversationalist and be able to talk to someone, and pretty much any someone can come in, and we're pretty good at making them feel comfortable because we're used to people day in and day out and sitting with people constantly, and so they do get comfortable with us, and they'll start to kind of unwind and tell us things. And over the years, we could probably fill a book with some of the stuff.
Confessions of a real
and some of it
life
is just,
stylist.
Great people who we learn a lot from too. I mean, I've learned a lot from clients over the years.
All a learning experience, both good and bad.
Right.
And like Erin and you were saying, statistically speaking, clients will tell their hairdresser something over their spouse, best friend, and physician.
Oh my God.
So we literally do hear it all, and 30% of a salon experience is the hair. The rest is how they feel. The trust that's established.
Yeah, it's the atmosphere, the comfort level, the connection. But yeah, that's incredible. It's interesting because there's a trend now where they have like these all silent salons. I don't know much about them, but I've heard about it, and I'm just kind of like, I understand it for like you said, the people that aren't comfortable with it, but I'm a talker. Like, I can't imagine sitting there in complete silence for 45 minutes. I would start to really feel uncomfortable.
We have moments of silence here that we try and take advantage
Yeah.
of. And we actually incorporate some of it into what we do here, which is a little bit different.
Right. What do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, so when I decided to open here, one of the things that I sat down and did was I tried to think of how I could be different. Anybody that's been on Ridge Pike knows that anybody that walks through this front door can find a different place to go in seconds.
Right.
You could throw a stone and end up in another salon. How am I going to create something that is not right in my backyard? And one of those things is really focusing on the type of service that we provide and making it a little bit unique. And one of those things here for us is basically allowing people to come in the door and feel relaxed, but yet not stuffy.
Right.
So we're usually very friendly with people. We offer them something to drink. We take our time. There's drink menus. There's, other things to kind of make it homey. Like I said, we call this our living room. We do the same thing with our guests that come in here. Sometimes they'll be processing, and they're kind of allowed to get up and move around and make themselves at home, get a magazine, come out here, make something, sit down out here if they'd rather do that. We leave everything really open. We don't have a back room. And the reason why is because we don't want to have that closed off feel. They can see what we're doing when we're mixing color. They can see it's all open.
Everybody knows the stereotypical hairdresser.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So when a hairdresser disappears, you automatically, oh, they're talking about me, they're gossiping.
Right.
It's just a really great way for guests to continuously interact with us.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think, I mean, as soon as you walk in, it's just like you feel like you go back into like just a classic home feel with modern, obviously, decor. But tell me, do you know a little bit about the history of this building or what it was before you guys came in?
Well, before we came in, it was an insurance company, and before that, she did some kind of decorative painting. I know there was a lot of work that myself and my family put into this. We did all the work ourselves, aside from the plumbing and the electrical, which we hired somebody to do. All of the flooring, the painting, building of the furniture, picking out all of this furniture. I matched the Keurig to my pillows.
That's awesome.
I picked
a
wall color.
and
curtains.
It's
really great.
interesting because like even my salon coordinator, she had a big part in it too. I mean, there were nights we would be here till like 11, 12 o'clock at night building the reception desk. Wow. Which we did poorly and had to be redone by my husband. But we did it. I mean, and we got it done fairly quickly. But it is nice because when people come in and they say, oh, it's so nice in here, I'm like, because I know that every bit of it from, the table to the decoration above the fireplace, I picked out every single piece of it, the coat rack. So when you put it together and you finally see what you've envisioned come together, it's such a great feeling.
And that I would think lends itself to the experience that you want people to have.
Yes.
Is that this salon is a unique identity that mirrors your values, your desire to create an experience for customers. So I think that's really cool, and I feel like it's a good way to kind of get people hooked as soon as they walk in to know, like you kind of feel the vibe of what you're trying to do before they even get in the chair.
And that's exactly what we want. We want people to be comfortable because there is a unique way that we provide the service. And the way that we do it is we incorporate everything into an experience. A lot of salons do like a la carte pricing where you go in and it's like, oh, it's $55 for a haircut, but then you have to pay for your blow dry and you have to pay for this and you have to pay for that. With us, when you come in for a haircut, we want you to experience the whole thing. Right. We don't want someone to opt out of a blow dry because they don't want to pay the extra or be surprised when they get to the front and they have to pay for their service and go, oh my goodness, well, what's that $15 for? Oh, it's because you got a toner. Or, oh, it's because you got this.
Yeah.
So everything is really a package, and it's really nice. It's easier for people to understand. Not only that, but we do a lot with essential oils, things like that. We want people to relax. This is their time away.
Right.
So everybody that comes in gets a scalp massage, gets a heated steam towel, gets to relax. Our shampoo bowls are unique. They don't have the hanging neck. They have a pillow almost in them that the head rests on.
Oh, wow.
Which is really good for the spine. There's no pressure, but it also allows them to enjoy the experience there. We try and keep it to a minimum. It can get busy in here sometimes, but we will dim the lights in that area and allow people to kind of relax and enjoy that. And it takes the stress of their day away.
Right. That's always been my favorite part when I've gone to get my haircut is the washing, because it's like you kind of can get away from the bustle, and how often do you have someone like rubbing your head? It's pretty nice. I've been known to kind of drift off in those experiences. So and they're like, you have to pay us now. We're done. Oh, okay, sorry. So I know we've been talking a lot. I want to include Blaine in the conversation. How did you guys come together to form this team here at Apothecary?
Blaine and I went to beauty school together. And
many years.
Those 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
No, it's been about 17.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's a compliment.
Yeah. This is Botox free.
So he and I met in beauty school. We became friends in beauty school. And then he was doing his thing. I was doing mine. I thought for a while I wanted to be a mainline stylist. That's what I wanted to do. And I started in Phoenixville originally, but I ended up...
Clarify what that means, just for people like
I wanted
me who
to
are
work
completely
out
ignorant.
on the main
On
line.
the main line. Okay, I wasn't sure if that was like
Yeah.
a type of hair design or something. I was completely ignorant.
I didn't really know, and I was like, all I thought was, I want to be this hairstylist, I want to work out there, I want to make all this money. And so I went out and worked there, and I was like, let's bring it back. And I started
Too
working...
close to Delco? No, just kidding, Delco. Sorry.
You guys are... yeah, so I brought it back, and I started working locally to this area, and I contacted Blaine for a cut-a-thon for a charity event, and he came out to help out, and we were doing haircuts for childhood cancer, and he came out, and we were like, please, you have to stay with me. And so he did, and he stayed with me for about 6 years previously, and when I came here to open, I kept asking him, like, you're gonna come, and
This is when you were working at a different salon for somebody else.
yeah, and
So you worked together at another place
we did,
before. Okay.
we did, and I asked him, and I think that at the time he was like, kind of like he was on the fence, but one of the things I really was like, I'm going to show him that I'm invested in him, was I brought in the line that he educates for, which I loved anyway.
Yeah.
But I brought in the entire line, the color line. I gave him all the tools that I thought that he would need to be successful, and
Without
said,
definitive yes.
Oh, really?
That it was just, we're carrying this. So if you do choose to come here, the brand that you educate for, everything's here.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a huge leap of faith and commitment. That's amazing.
And in the end, the tides turned a little bit, and he ended up, calling me one night and saying, "Hey."
From California. I'm in California, and I have no place to go back to, and and this was home. I got to see kind of the transformations that were happening in between my travels. I travel a lot for educating.
Right.
So I would come in, and there would be a red wall, and I'd come back and it'd be primer, and I'd come back and there'd be a door. So I intermittently got to see the progress of Apothecary coming to life. And like you said, it was just the leap of faith, and the faith that she had in me, where not every salon would say, we want you because you have value.
Right.
There were other places where I have worked, and other places that have offered me positions where, this is going to be your cap. You can't exceed this.
Right.
And that just wasn't the idea that Erin had, and it wasn't the idea that I wanted. I didn't want to work in a salon where I'd be working for someone. I wanted to work in a place where I'd be working with someone, where together we would constantly lift each other up and promote each other and encourage each other to do better.
Right. Yeah, it's a noble pursuit. Unfortunately, as you know, that it's hard to find. So the fact that you guys,
especially in this industry,
especially, I've come to know that as I've interviewed different people, not just in this industry, but industries I would not necessarily think of as being like cutthroat. And I kind of had a feeling with this industry that it would be, just based on stereotypes of, some of the industries that are more in the luxury area tend to be a little bit more, political and things like that, because there's a lot of ego and stuff like that, that floats around. But just in talking with you guys and the camaraderie that you have and the long-standing relationship, I think that's a testament in and of itself, especially in this industry. So how long have you been in this place, this physical location here?
We will be in this physical location a year, October 13th.
Oh, okay. So it hasn't been very long. So
we've grown
a
lot. It started out with just me and Alyssa, and then it became myself, Alyssa, and Blaine, and now it's myself, Alyssa, Blaine, and we have 3 other stylists, and I have another assistant as well.
Wow, that's incredible. So why don't we transition and talk a little bit about the brand that you educate for, Blaine?
Sure.
And how Apothecary operates differently than other salons, because I think that's one of the things that was most intriguing to me when I met you guys, hearing how you go about your business differently. So I'll let you kind of...
I think one of the main draws to Apothecary was when Erin was kind of explaining her vision to a salon and how she was going to be different. Instantaneously, our visions kind of, were a parallel in that we did want a different experience. We did want to provide kind of that 5-star service, just the little extra things for each individual to build more of a trust and a relationship with our guests, and not just an in and out, give me your money, you look pretty. We wanted everyone to feel great, staff, guests, everyone. And then on top of that, to want to be involved with the community and want to be involved just with the well-being of, we like to call ourselves people planet pet friendly, just to get involved. And myself, I personally work for Euphoria, one of our brands. Kevin Murphy is our other brand. To have an eco-friendly brand in the salon, and to want an educator, to have Erin want an educator on staff, to making sure that all of our staff stays well educated, continuing education. Without it, this industry would not thrive. So not only to have that continuing education within the salon, but then to also give back to the community, give back to the planet. We've got the eco-friendly brands, and then 6 months in, we were able to become certified as a Green Circle salon. So what that means is everything that is used here has some way of being repurposed or recycled.
Wow.
We recycle hair. We recycle aluminums, obviously plastics, papers. We even recycle unused hair color.
Really?
And tools, station tools, curling irons, blow dryers.
Yeah.
Do you know some examples on how that stuff's reused? Because I find that fascinating.
Yeah. So actually, the bags that we send back to Green Circle with all of our use are made from hair.
Oh, really?
They work with Virginia Tech to actually make a bioplastic. Made out of hair. They also are used to make sponges for oil spills, pillows for shelters in times of need, disasters. The unused color is turned into new energy. One of the most fascinating things in discovering Green Circle Salon was I found out that any raw material that can't be repurposed, they actually put in a lined landfill, so that when that's discovered, when the technology is available to us, they're able to then remove it and repurpose it again.
So it's like it's kept to itself,
It's
so
kept to
that
itself.
specific material can be repurposed
And,
again.
and the thing
that's
is, too,
interesting.
like when you're talking about unused hair color, only a small percentage is considered bad.
Yeah.
The rest of it is water.
Right.
So the problem is, though, is that when you allow it all back into, our water systems, our it's so much worse. So what they do is remove all of the water first.
Oh, really?
And then you're left with this tiny little bit, which is actually
the
takes,
chemical or whatever it is.
you're taking the majority of it.
Yeah, that's really fascinating. So Apothecary, how did you come up with that idea for the brand? Because it when I first heard it, it sounded like it fit with all the things that you're doing. But at the same time, a lot of that stuff has kind of come on board since the launch, it seems.
Apothecary that's what really was the birth of everything for me, was the name. And it was funny because that was something that it was kind of like my thing. I just constantly kept coming back to this name and coming back to this name. For us, our tagline says integrity is everything. So for us, what that means is not just the integrity of your stylist, but the integrity of the salon, the integrity of the products, the integrity of the hair. We are all about healing hair care. How can we make your hair better? If someone were to come in the door and they had hair that was broken and damaged, and they said, I will give you $400 to put highlights in my hair, please, I just want to be a blonde, I would tell them that this was not the place for them.
Wow.
I would, however, help them in creating a path. How can we heal this? How can we make it better? And it's just about making everything better as a whole, too, with people. I mean, everything from the minute they walk in here, I want it to feel very healing for them. I want the whole experience to feel that way. And I also want things to be safe for my stylists. I know a lot of stylists who have been using chemicals for a really long time, and you know, for me, it's just not something that I wanted to do. I wanted to bring it back, and you know, we don't offer services unless they're healthy hair care services.
That's really important, I think. I mean, integrity, like you want to maintain the brand as well, like, and the imagery behind an apothecary, you know, is that idea of healing and, you know, medicinal aspects, restoration. So that's a great example of that. You were going to say something, so.
I just, you know, to roll off what Erin's saying, I think once you have, she said that came before anything else, anything salon-wise,
right.
Was that name, that purpose, that mission. And once you had the mission, you had asked, you know, how did all the aftermath come? Once you have that clear mission and that clear brand of who you are, and you stick to the integrity,
Right.
everything else just comes naturally. You know, eco-friendly brands. Oh, that fits our
right,
brand.
yeah.
Green circle. You know, using energy-efficient bulbs, eco-friendly water, waterheads. Everything just kind of comes naturally to us,
Right.
and we can so easily decipher when someone comes through that door and says, "We'd like to offer this for your salon." It's just black and white. There's no
Right.
gray area for us.
Right.
We know that's a part of Apothecary, or that belongs in another salon. That is no better or worse, just a different type of experience.
Yeah, different goals.
Yeah.
And I do stick to the brand, and I've stuck to it from the beginning. You know, we did have an incident, you know, with a product line changing, and as soon as it changed and it didn't fit our mission, I got rid of it.
Yeah.
And she was in
that
love
day.
with this product,
Yeah.
and to hear that instantaneous decision, that was I know we're doing the right thing. I know we're in the right place.
That's great, because it's like you said. I mean, integrity means something in here, and the external things not changing the thing in here. You know, like, because there's always going to be temptation to compromise, or temptation to, you know, chase the dollar or whatever. And that's kind of, it's funny, because that's one of my slogans for my real estate thing is real person, real needs, and I'm kind of the same way. I mean, wholeheartedly the same way, not with like necessarily eco-friendly real estate. I don't know how that works, but what I do is I use my real estate business, and a portion of all my commissions go to provide housing for those in need, as opposed to people I work with are usually dropping hundreds of thousands of dollars down on their dream home. There's a lot of people that don't have that option and will never get that option. So I partner with Habitat for Humanity, partner with foster care organization, like people who don't have a home, finding them a home. So it's kind of cool, like when you guys were talking about that.
I love it.
Yeah, I feel like
Anything
finding, it was really cool when I met Blaine at Community Day, and hearing about it and seeing the there's like the straight line from your industry to what you're doing, and like when people can identify that and know who they are, you know, you attract those types of experiences, those types of needs. You're over, you know, the senses are heightened when those things start to be brought into your periphery.
And I think
you
if you're
start
not
to point them out and find them for yourself.
if you're not giving back to the community as a whole, I think you're really cutting yourself off, and you'll be isolated in some form. And I think it's really important for both of us, as Erin told you with her story, you know, having a child on the spectrum, and myself being a child of abuse. You know, we always try to incorporate that and say, you know, what did we go through in life? What did we experience? And how can we make it so people don't have to go through something like that? So we've done, Child Help is an event every year, and we have different fundraisers and ways
I donated to Alex's Lemonade Stand baskets, giveaways for them. Anything childhood cancer. We have some friends and clients here who have children with neuroblastoma, and
Wow.
you know, we definitely support our guests that come in here. You know, if one of them comes to me and says, you know, I have this benefit, you know, for my child or for this child or for someone, we love to get involved. And that's something we do. We've talked to the girls about volunteering at the soup kitchen, doing something for team building. I want us to have that culture. That's what it's about for us.
Anytime someone comes in, I think that brought a tear to my eye the first time one of Erin's guests came and said that, you know, she had been diagnosed with cancer. And Erin, you know, it's one of those eye openers. You don't think about it, and then suddenly it fits with our mission. And Erin said, you know, I'm going to go down this route. We're going to find a company, and now every time someone comes in and they've been diagnosed and they have to cut their hair, there's no charge. How's that going to make a person feel better if they've got to come, shave their head off, and then, you know, hand us $50?
Yeah.
So I thought that was.
We do that.
Incredible.
We also do their first haircut after their chemo service too.
Yeah.
So kind of like helping them transition. They should never have to worry about that financial.
Right.
So pre-chemo, post-chemo, keeping up with all of it. I've done wig styling, things like that, and we don't charge for those services.
That's incredible. No, that's really awesome. And I think, you know, just I would love to be able to talk to you guys about this stuff because I feel like we're just getting going. But you know, just a great example of knowing who you are and not limiting the reach that you can have by saying, oh, I just cut hair, or I just do this, or which is, I think, unfortunately, where everybody kind of falls sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are really, the only limits that we have are the ones that we put on ourselves or allow other people to put on us. So I think it's really cool to see what you guys are doing here. As we wrap up, why don't you let people know how they can get in touch with you, your social media platforms, your website, all that information. Take it away, Blaine.
Well, we are located on 316 West Ridge Pike in Royersford. You can certainly check us out on Facebook, Apothecary Hair Lounge. You can visit our website, apothecaryhair.com. Find out who we all are as stylists. We have all of our profiles and a little bio about us on our website. We do have Apothecary Hair Lounge via Instagram as well. And again, there are links to each of our own Instagrams.
Mm-hmm.
And
they can also stop in.
you can stop.
We have people stop in for coffee.
Yeah.
And then obviously, if you want to book online, you can go straight through the website. If you're old-fashioned like me, you can give us a call, 610-226-2664, and you're probably going to have the nicest conversation you've ever had because Alyssa is a dream coach. That's like better than the hair service. I called one day and she has this like amazing, I don't want to call it a script because it's said with such heart, but I called and I was like, it's just me, I just need my payroll. But it was just like,
right.
She
It's
says,
That's good.
to whom do I have the pleasure of speaking with?
Wow.
So that's how the phone is answered here. We don't say, what can I do? Or
how can I help you?
To whom do I have the
Chances
pleasure
are
of
they need their hair done.
Yeah, that's right.
Chances are.
What are you calling in reference to? Would you like the time? No.
She would supply them with
Oh, I'm sure, yeah. That's great. So thanks, guys. Blaine,
Thank you.
Erin, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks a lot for watching this episode of Discover Springford. I encourage you to stop in to see Erin, Blaine, and all of the other stylists here at Apothecary Hair Lounge. They're truly making a difference, not only in what they're doing in their community, but also how they're trying to leave a cleaner footprint in the hair cutting industry. Until next time, get out there and discover all of the incredible things that Springford has to offer. Great places to live, work, eat, and explore. I'll see you next time on Discover Springford.